What's up, everybody? This started off as a video about how they really want a certain demographic to come out this weekend, but apparently that version needs additional review that could take up to 24 hours. So we're going to change this up some, and there's some breaking news today that is really messed up. They are working overtime trying to sell this weekend's big event, and they really want black people to show up out there. But I know in Chicago, they are fed up with it. They're the ones that are always at the city council meetings calling out the scammer mayor who's spent $1 billion helping other people come in and take the jobs that you guys should have had. That's $1 billion freaking dollars on high-rise hotels, designer clothes, and brand new scooters to not get to work with. When was the last time they showed up down on MLK Drive and started handing out a bunch of scooters? I've never been to Chicago, but MLK Drive is the same in every city. But these guys aren't taking jobs from college-educated suburbanites. And nowadays, what college-educated means is lost all touch with reality.
How do you as white people feel about stopping a black woman from going to work?
Oh, no, not work. I care so much.
So you don't care about stopping black people from going to work?
Oh, isn't that cute? You have a job. Do they pay you with real money, too? Look, I've told you guys I used to live in the Bay Area, which is one of the epicenters of the mind virus. What I don't talk about very much is the anger issues that I had when I left there, because I knew what would happen if I cleaned the floor with passive-aggressive pricks like this. These people are literal comrades who truly despise America. And they live in their little insulated bubbles and think everybody wants to be like them. And they are completely hollow shells of people. They have no beliefs. They have no idea what loyalty, conviction, or accountability is. And since they've been pampered their whole lives like little 12-year-olds, then they have a junior high mentality about life. I think this might perfectly encapsulate them. I'm driving down the road and there is a girl sitting in the middle of the right lane. There's 2 lanes. It's obvious she hurt her ankle. There are 3 guys that are obviously her friends on their phones calling for help instead of getting her out of the damn street. That is how absolutely worthless. But yeah, these people don't care anything about you, no matter which you that is this week. Had this been 2020, he'd have been bowing down, begging for forgiveness from that lady. But now she doesn't belong to this week's demographics. These guys really are the biggest ethnicists in the world. They think it's their job to save everyone else. All right, I'll move on.
Order puts that in perspective, and hopefully Donald Trump will immediately back down. The courts have ruled on the guard. They will be back under my command, and he'll be relieved. Donald Trump will be relieved of his command at noon tomorrow.
We got a governor of a state that can't plan far enough ahead to put water in reservoirs. And apparently he found some local judge to issue an order saying that his position supersedes that of the president, and that the commander-in-chief of the United States will be relieved of his duty tomorrow at noon. What the actual blank? So, you know, they've been switching out the top brass ever since Barry and Mike came along. And then in 2020, all of the principled service people didn't take the thing. And they've intentionally been switching out those positions with people favorable to them. So this is just another instance where they're saying they're not going to follow the law of the land, nor are they going to obey the orders of the leader. On the exact same day that their party has organized uprisings in 1,500 cities. I'll just leave a little blank there for all the things I can't say here. And at the exact same time, after years and years of waiting, Yeezy finally decides to go after the big dog. And their media is reporting that we were involved. Our administration seemed to know that this was coming, but there's a big difference between knowing something's going to happen and helping someone do it. And I'm really not sure what the case is here. First off, they went after leaders and top scientists, and these people live in high rises, and I can't show the footage here, but plenty of collateral damage. But this is the equivalent of back in Dub Dub Deuce days of someone taking out Albert Einstein, Oppenheimer, and General Patton, because that's how these people play this game, like the czar and his entire family. It's totally hitting below the belt. The Trump administration has been cleaning house of everybody with dual loyalties here, and they've stated publicly that we weren't involved. They've been in peace talks for quite a while. There was another meeting scheduled this weekend, which they're still trying to get them to meet up. And all of the media is emphasizing that this was a necessary deception. And to me, this looks like a very possible flag here. As of right now, I'd probably give it a 50-50 chance. This is the second time in a month that Blumpf has been in negotiations with a head of state, and then things started going kablooey everywhere. This absolutely destroys any adversary's confidence in anything Trump says. And this is actually the perfect setup, because what's Blumpf going to do? Come out and say, well, I had no idea this was going to happen, and look stupid? Or he can say, well, I told him not to, and then look weak. But he released this statement at like 3 a.m. So they were up all night trying to figure out how to frame this. And I don't usually keep that close a track with him, but this week has been kind of busy, and he has had an extremely busy schedule. And you've got the clown show going in LA. And in his statement here, he's not indicating that he was involved, that we were involved. So the media is spinning this that he was involved with Benji from the very get-go with all this, and it was all just a deception with the peace talks. But that article I read you guys about the beef between the two was from 2021, and all the signs lately have seemed like they're still beefing. He's actually been removing these dual loyalty members from his cabinet lately, while Benji has been after the big I since 2001, even before, but that's when he was trying to sell it to us. And this sounds exactly the same. The WMDs from 20 years ago. So I know a lot of people are going to disagree with that. Like I said, I give it about a 50-50 chance right now. But just 2 weeks ago, I've still got the photos here. They did this surprise deployment right as he was trying to make a deal. Now they've done literally the exact same thing here. This was the style of operation that they just pulled off. It was this with a combination of airstrikes. And I've heard that they've got control of their airspace now. And if that's the case, that's a really big deal. This is going to intensify immediately. And there has already been retaliation. And I don't know if you guys have ever had that friend, but you go out to have some fun, all of a sudden everybody's throwing fists. There's nothing you can do but jump in and help your friend. It doesn't matter that you were just trying to mind your own business and have some fun. Now you're guilty by association. And I'm a little surprised that I haven't heard anybody else even throw the possibility out that this is a flag.
Not our war. And Hannity goes, bye, Peter, bye. Cut him off. Because there was this indication that maybe Trump doesn't want these wars, and they cut him off.
And remember, this has been Benji's wet dream for 20 years.
This will be the first time that that this kind of action has been permitted or greenlit or whatever you want to call it by an American president. If you remember...
So right at the same time, a governor is trying to override his authority, and we got all kinds of problems on the home front. He greenlights this. First time any U.S. president has gone this far after 20 years of pushing for this. And he literally flew over there for a meeting just a couple weeks ago and left Benji out of the loop. So the media is trying to spin this as it was all just a big deception to get them to let their guard down so that Yeezy could pull off this Terry tack. And that's all this is. From the pagers to the drones, there is no consideration whatsoever for collateral damage. And if it was anybody else on Earth, everybody'd be calling it a Terry tack. So anyway, I just thought I'd throw that idea out there because I'm not 100% convinced either way. And with everything going on here right now, I'd much rather see some silver bracelets for this dude and all his comrades than anything happening on the other side of the world. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Static out.